What's up, folks? Nigeria Lucas here. We're ready to break down episode 5 of Snowfall season 4, The Get Back. We're jumping right towards the end of this episode, and we're going to explain how this all went down. But before
for the second straight week, jump into the end of the episode first.
That's what we're going to do. We're going right into the explanation of the ending here today. Well, before that, I was going to say, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I am wonderful. Unlike so many characters from this show all of a sudden in a very short span of time here. And I don't know if when we talked last week, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if we said it during the show or post-production, but boy, was I confused. I assumed that Sully and Manboy knew each other for the opposite reason.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got that confused.
Yeah,
I thought it was always Sully had a son with no, Manboy had a daughter with Sully's sister, not Sully having a daughter with Manboy's sister.
Yeah.
Because that would have put a whole different focus on this episode for us going in from the last episode if I would have gotten that wording correct. But either way, it's still dangerous.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I want to talk about the end because that's where people are going to be picking up off of, and we'll work our way reverse. But so Manboy and Franklin have the meeting, and this is an interesting meeting that we knew at some point was going to happen because we all know that Manboy is eventually he wants Franklin's spot. But I want to throw to you, does he have a legitimate claim here about how Franklin doesn't have territories now?
Of course not, because of what happened at the end of last episode, or close to the end of last episode, when the talk was expand beyond LA. Now you see here why Franklin isn't shook when he's bringing up all these territories that Franklin no longer has a manhold on. One, as Franklin said, nigga, I have the plug. In the end, you're right. It is hard to sell my product without the plug, without territories. But what the fuck are those territories going to do about product? Without me, there's nothing. Like it's all. It brought me to the King of New York when Christopher Walken, and I know this is old for some people out there. Y'all young, y'all may not understand the analogy that I'm about to use here, but Christopher Walken walks into a den of drug dealers and tells them, if a nick is sold in a park, I want in. He literally is laying out the rules and regulations because he feels I'm the person with the power here. You have to follow what I say. That's what Franklin feels in this situation. Like, in the end, I can laugh at you because I have the product.
Yeah.
And even without territories, nigga, I have the product. If you kill me and shit stops, your money stops, your lifestyle stops. And I love the point when Franklin told him, Manboy, the difference between me and you is I don't give up my people. That's another power play. That's another play of saying, no, you did that because you needed me. What makes you think I'm gonna do the reverse? I don't need you. Like that was a stark reminder to Manboy of his position, which again, we foretold this in episode 2 when we were heading to the big shootout, and we were like, he should not have backed Manboy at all. And this is the reason why you don't.
Yeah, I was just also going to tell you too, it's kind of blasphemy when he was just like, yeah, you got that weak product anyway, and it's like, oh, little do you know, he's going to have the most peers once the government brings that next shipment over. And the expansion and more, and that's obviously going to be the next hottest thing because it's going to get everybody hooked. So like everything he was saying was like what was very like comical to him because Franklin knew the real deal and everything that's to come. And like, yes, sure, we talked a lot about the expansion last week, but like, you know, Manboy is playing with small money here, and I think that's why they all looked around like, what? That's all you got? That's all you got to say? And it is what it is. Manboy felt good at the moment, but at the same time, I think going to next episode, I think he's going to quickly reevaluate where he's at. And I think the only thing they can do is think that war would resolve this, but obviously that wouldn't do him any better. And I think that's where it's going to really show the differences between how each of them are running, you know, their business, shall I say.
Because thinking about war over, and I know this is gonna sound horrible to some people, to think about going to war over something as simple as a dead kid. And I know that sounds fucked up. Trust me, I know it sounds fucked up. But Man Boy and Sully's conversation when he said, "You already told me not to have her around it." Nigga, you messed up from the beginning.
Yeah.
What makes you think it was going to be on them to make sure your daughter didn't die? How about you blame the niggas in the car who stopped and pulled out guns on them? That was the dumbest thing in the world to do with your daughter in the car. You put her in harm's way, and now you want a resolution. That's not the way that it works. That's damn sure ain't the way it works in business.
Yeah. And like also too, you think about like Man Boy's approach this whole episode. He thought that he could come up with some type of allegiance with Scully off the strength of that. And Khadijah called him on. It's like, this ain't the time for that. But strangely enough, that's what he did. Once Scully was getting his tattoo, he was definitely right there pondering with him to some extent. But like, again, regardless of this little alliance that they got, we all know what both of their end games are. It's super fake.
Here's the weird part. Is it an alliance? Because Sully didn't seem to think it was.
No, it's definitely not. But like Man Boy thinks he got something going on here.
That's the problem. He's operating like a little man who wants to be a big man. Yeah. For one, you're going to the big man talking about him doing right by you. That's not the way that works.
Yeah.
If Franklin had more of a boss mentality, he'd have shut Man Boy down right then and there and said, "What makes you think you can step to me and ask me to do that?"
Yeah.
Let's go to hierarchy here, sir. You aren't there.
Yeah.
You're not at my level where we should be having these type of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Leon did it. And what does that have to do with my business?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what threw me off at the beginning of the contemplation between Franklin's crew about what to do with Leon, is that you didn't shut that down from the beginning.
Yeah.
And say, I don't care what Leon did. It's not my business. Like, Leon isn't part of this for them anymore.
Yeah, I thought that was weird, and I definitely didn't think that's how that was going to go. But again, I think that it goes back to Franklin's mom, and I think she's just being the moral compass of things and the voice of reasoning for him. And you know, her going to visit Leon, which we'll wrap back around to in a second. I think that really was the definitive answer as to like, yeah, you can't give up your brother. Like, despite all beliefs and all recklessness, this is, I think that was a no-brainer there when she said you are equal, which is something that we haven't like vividly said, but we said that they need each other in a sense, and that brotherhood. And I know all of our fans are fans of Power, but the same thing we've been saying about Tommy and Ghost really applies here too. And I think that it's easy storytelling. And I think that regardless of them two ever admitting that they need each other, the mom said it here is the first time, and I'm sure we're going to see others telltales of the two of them absolutely needing each other.
Well, I got a bigger question then for you, sir. Was it actually a smart move to rescue Leon?
That is the biggest question tonight. That is the biggest question tonight.
It's not about the war. Screw that. Going to war with Sully, going to war with Man Boy, that's not the issue.
Mm-hmm.
The issue was when Reed told him Leon's prince is on a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I have questions, because this is the 80s and DNA evidence ain't that good for them to pull it off like that. But you know what? I'm just going to go along with it. Leon, Prince are on a bullet. Isn't it better for Leon to be dead for business? Because Reed basically said that. Like, I know y'all are close, but this is business. And in business, Leon did mess up. And he messed up even more by not killing her. I said at the end of the last episode, why didn't you kill you kill everybody. You don't leave a body alive.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because I was about to say that right before you just said it. But like, it's also crazy because her being alive has also been the spark. Khadijah being the spark for both Scully and Man Boy, where they getting ready to have some type of powwow, and my man getting tatted and whatnot. she was like, y'all out in here doing whatever, and they out here running the streets all free. Like, go do what you gotta do. I thought it was a strong woman move, and I also think it was also the thing that had needed to been said right there anyway. Because
because you getting high, getting tattoos. Like, come on, man. Where are your priorities at here?
He had his tap man in there, like, hey, bro, get me, bro.
With a whole picture, doing a whole ass portrait.
Yeah. He didn't even clean him that. He just threw his shirt on. I was like, all right, guys, I gotta go, man. Like, I thought that was wild, but again, I think that I think it's on par with both of those characters. I mean, they're essentially they're thugs, and there's no logic, and they respond to things the way you think they would. I mean, the next step for them was to go to Iverson Mall, which is a local hood mall around us, and go get a T-shirt. So, like,
and some snickerdoodles.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
consider some cookies, nigga. Maybe the latest foams, and then we're gonna hit the block after that. I'm just saying. Like, at this rate, that's where they were going with that. But I think that's the biggest question is what to do with Leon. And let's kind of roll back over to him now. So again, Leon made a huge mistake in killing Tiana, which is Scully's daughter. Wait, let's go back here. Leon made a huge mistake by not killing everybody in the car.
Yeah. I don't even. There.
I don't. No. Meaning, I don't even count killing the kid as a mistake. That wasn't a mistake. The mistake was leaving her alive. You kill everybody.
Yeah, and like, no. Well, my point, what I'm getting at is that the shootout went wrong. It didn't go as it should have went, and obviously he's playing the effects of it. And not only is everyone aware of it, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. But you think about this now: if he had to kill Khadijah, then there was no witness as to who did it. And all of his troubles today about his mom kicking him to the curb, him being one day homeless, and him having these dreams, which I think we got to talk about in a second.
How did he fall into the struggle in 5 hours?
Yeah, it got rough. But his mom ate one of the stashes up. He had another stash, but like, again, like this situation, as they said, like, it's going to eat him alive. Like, my man had a dream in a dream. He thought Franklin was about to kill him, and then he wakes up and realized that Khadijah's laughing at him holding his body, and it's just like, he doing bad mentally. He did everything he wasn't supposed to do. He went back into the hood where he had to go get his money. He didn't stay in the house because he went on a run because he saw he was on the news. Like, at this point now, like, he's a huge liability not only to himself but to everything Franklin's doing. And that's why, like, for this to be the 5th episode, between not knowing what Scully's up to and how is Franklin going to resolve all of this, I have no clue where this goes for the first time this season. I have no clue where this goes next, because at first I was going to say, well, Franklin could talk to what's his name, the cop, and say, y'all could say that somebody else did this and completely get him off the books. Despite whatever Khadijah say, you can say that somebody else was arrested for this. Help out my man. That helps everything that we got going good, and that takes heat off me, because all this brings back heat to Franklin, which there's still looming.
What cop?
The CIA agent.
Oh, Reed? I don't think he can do that. I think that's what Reed was hinting towards. Like,
no, he can't do it now, because everyone knows. That's why he said, I need to know what all your cops know. So if his cops didn't know anything, if there wasn't no witness in Khadijah, and there wasn't no forensics done, then there was no reason for it to go back to him.
I'm still blown away. I'm still blown away by these forensics in the 80s where they got this.
One day,
and you
ballistic reports.
dog. They didn't. Ballistics wasn't that good. Didn't get that good to 2010.
Yeah, we'll let that slide. But
do you know that means they would have had to get a fingerprint while he is loading the gun? We weren't able to do that to the 2000s and get that type of fingerprint. How are they getting it in the 80s? I am so early. This is mid to early 80s at that. A ballistics report. This would have been black on black. Them cops would have sprinkled crack on that car and left that shit alone. Like, this, sprinkle a little crack on it. This is black on black. We don't care.
But at this point, though, like, and to everybody listening, like, was there ever any out for Leon this entire episode? I kept trying to put together ways how he can get clear, how this can kind of resolve to some extent, and and that still wouldn't even work because they're still friends. Just as much heat as that brought back as Leon brought back to Franklin would Fatback have brought back to Leon, would have brought back to Franklin, and it still comes back to Franklin. And then we already said last week, we said regardless of whatever you want to think, they were going to make this Franklin's problem point blank because that's who they want. That's who they want to have his spot, not to ultimately have his connect, and to eliminate him from the equation.
That's why Manboy went to him. Because Manboy, I think, has an understanding this season that Franklin and Leon aren't close. The only reason he went back to there is a power play. It's just that he didn't expect Franklin to buck the way Franklin did with his power play. But as it pertains to Leon, again, this is just an episode of of reflection for his character. I think it was very telling in the first half of his dream.
I know
he thought Franklin was going to kill him. Yeah. And Franklin says, "I'm the smart one."
Reset. Thank you. I was going to say, we've been saying that. We've been saying, but put that in the full context. He had a dream, essentially a nightmare about what he refuses to face in reality. Yes. And when he said when he wanted to be out on his own, he said, no, I'm the smart one. You need me. These are things we've been saying, obviously, reviewing it, but like these are things we know about him that he had refused to admit that we're getting now 5 episodes in.
Yep.
And the fact that he dreamed about this as a nightmare shows you the biggest things that are on his chip on his shoulder right now is the idea that he needs him and that he killed that girl. And that's crazy that they're synonymous like that. Like
what happened is it's a moment that happened in his life that's making him reflect.
Yeah.
And again, Jerome said it best when he said, man, looking at him, I've never seen him that way.
Yep.
And some people don't, what do you say? Some people don't bounce back from killing a kid.
Yep.
Like this is really hurt Leon. And it's making him go over all his other decisions. And one of them is stepping out on his own when he knew he didn't have the wherewithal to do it.
Yep.
So it was a very dope scene, very dope dream sequence. I really like that. And then when we think he's coming out of it and he goes immediately into the other one, which is a bigger issue for him at the moment, which is her crying over his body.
Or laughing. Chuckering, it looked like a cry, but you
crying over his body.
And a lot of powerful things happen in that room because once Franklin's mom come to braid my hair, somebody.
I thought I was the only one that song popped into my head. When she said, "No, get on the floor," I knew it then. The whole beginning of the song started playing. She said, "Get on the floor."
Hey yo, I ain't gonna even lie.
She popped that nigga head with no grease though.
Hey, I was just about to say he was not crying because he was emotional, folks. I just want y'all to
hey, if y'all don't know how it is to have hair and have a motherfucker part your hair with no grease and try to braid your hair, I'd have been crying hard. Glory, slave tears, man.
Hey, all I know is he was not crying because he was emotional. Hey yo.
But again, that was a very touching moment that needed to happen.
Yeah.
Because it shows their relationship.
Yep.
And you needed to show their relationship to make it relate back to Franklin.
Yep. And then we saw the parallel differences once we got that really beautifully shot scene of basically the mirror of looking through the table mirror, and it flipped over. We seen essentially mom and son with mom without her kid, and it just shows you how both of their lives obviously was affected by this, and just where they're both mentally at the point. And again, I think it absolutely was a telling for the both of them, but. It's crazy. It's really crazy because the consequences from what he did last episode, and like you said, not killing the entire car. You could look folks, frame it however you want. Him not killing the entire car, or him, or Scully and them folks not stopping. Either way, there was a bunch of consequences, there was a bunch of different outcomes that would have made these type of consequences occur, knowing that little girl was in the back. And blame Scully boys, blame Leon and them, whoever it is. Either way.
Hey, I was listening to a podcast that I listen to twice a week, a really popular one, and they discussed this show. And their host said, "Man, Sully need to be mad at his boys." His co-star's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Nigga, they knew who was in the car. Why would they stop?" And that's my whole point there. In the end, it's weird, especially with Man Boy wanting retribution for what happened. What was Leon supposed to do?
Yeah. Also,
in the end, Leon was placed in a situation where he had
no choice. He was stuck in everything.
No positive outcome here.
Yeah.
His goal was to live. He had to shoot that car up.
Yep.
If I don't shoot this car up, they're going to kill me. Yep. Again, that's why I say the only mistake he made was leaving someone alive. And according to Snowfall in the 80s, was not wiping the bullets off before loading them into his gun.
Also, too, I'll go as far as saying this: Scully's boys actually being the one to try to take this hit. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure Scully also has another claim as to, well, who authorized you to do that?
Hey,
because that's his job. That's his MO, to be the shooter.
To be my child in the car with you.
In the shootout scene, he was the one telling everybody exactly, not the shootout scene, the meetup scene where they had the shootout, where he was the one basically calling the shot as to who was going to be the first to pull the trigger. So, like, anything about hierarchy knows that he's going to give the call as to when his boys are TTG. And at this wheel, they made about 80% of the mistake that ended up with this result.
Yes.
And like, I couldn't even imagine, say they did kill Ola Leon, all those boys, you still put his daughter in danger, dude. Yes. Like, and he wouldn't have been happy about that in the first place. So
he'd have killed every single one of them anyway.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. Speaking of Scully, DeAndre Brooks, who plays,
that's his name. Yeah. Damn it. I have been waiting to hear his name. I knew his first name.
Yeah.
But listen, man.
Dude is fantastic.
You are a living with emotions.
Legend. Yeah. Look, I said it that, just whatever the feelings he displays, you automatically feel it. When he's upset, when he's angry, irate, crazy, whatever it may be, he relays it to the viewers so good and with ease that he doesn't get enough credit for his performances in this show. Like, no. Dude, legitimately, if he's like a ticking time bomb, you're gonna feel scared. When he was emotional, you kind of like, damn, I'm sympathizing with this dude, but like, dude is a hothead, but like, I actually feel bad for him, and like, that's kind of a questionable thing considering his track record. But like, damn, I do, and I think that's the
mellow. It made you mellow.
Yeah,
like when he's getting a tattoo high as hell, like, man, what you want? You're like, you're right. Like, why is she bothering you now? Let you finish getting that tattoo, then you can handle business. Like, you feel everything. He's right now carrying a lot of the emotional weight of this show.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it's sporadic, and that's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this is a character I would want to see all the time, but I love the way they pop him out to carry the emotional weight of the show. Because everyone else on this show, for the most part, have their emotions in check. It's him that does it. He's giving the audience the real reaction we would have if we were in some of these situations.
Yeah, and like you need that, because essentially the genre of this is a drama.
Yep. And
you got to have somebody that's providing some drama for you.
Exactly.
Besides just the writing, you got to be able to look at a character and feel what they're feeling. I mean, I say it all the time in horror films. The only way horror works is when you actually can put yourself in the shoe of the person who's scared. And when they're scared, then you're scared, then the whole horror element works. And I think same thing with drama. You have to look at a person that is able to convey drama, emotions of all sorts in order for the drama to work. So that's just that. But other things I really want to just quickly talk about. Irene, we're still waiting as now things are booting up. She has one task, and that's to save her paper, and that's to launch a full-blown investigation about the government and their wrongdoing of importing drugs into the streets. And she got her whole board up there, and she's ready to take everybody down. Of course, there's some people who are a little bit reserved about her tactics, but things are to come. Only thing I got to talk about is how she went to jail, went into to the jail and tried to get two people to provide information for her, and she started promising them things. And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. If she was she's not a lawyer, she's a journalist, and you out here promising for a trial.
She ain't a DA. She ain't a cop. She ain't Detective Rodriguez. What the hell are you doing in here making promises about making people pay? Like, are you crazy? Not only that, you're talking about making the CIA pay. Even in the 80s, we knew. More than we remember now. We knew in the 80s that the CIA would kill anyone who got in the way of stopping them from doing what they wanted to do.
Look, I got a better example for you. We know if there's one place that the CIA cannot be trusted, that is in the state of California. CIA, FBI, and they are right in ground zero. And she out here trying to overthrow them.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna build a case again. You know what? I'm just waiting for the episode where she dies, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to kill her with reckless abandonment.
Yeah,
because you can't. One thing you're not going to do is mess up business here.
Yeah,
with your little paper that you're trying to save.
Yeah.
But I think her editor did give her a good piece of advice when he said, find someone disgruntled in the organization, find a weak link. And the moment he said it, I started thinking, who could possibly be the weak link?
Yep, well, it's only...
And I think we all know who that weak link is.
It's sad, too, because I didn't see this coming.
Hold up, who do you think the weak link is? I want to make sure we're on the same page.
I think at this point now, potentially it could be Gustavo. Because Gustavo's the only person who needs something right now. He's looking for somebody, and we obviously seen how his emotions can get him unrailed. He is technically CIA, but even if he's not CIA, he damn sure knows everything that's happening with it.
I don't think he's the weak link.
Well, here's the thing. As much as I don't want it to be, where does his storyline go from here? It has to be some stakes.
The reason why he, to me, wouldn't be the weak link is because when the editor said find someone in the organization, Gustavo knows stuff. That's not the organization he was talking about to me. Nor is it the organization that she's already pointing towards.
Okay.
The weak link to her is the father. And that's the person she's going to try to flip. And when we see his reaction, when Leon was named the shooter and what he did, he is clearly what she sees as the weak link, because he needs to be honest and he can't help it. He's clearly never liked the point of what they're doing as a business here. And because he doesn't, and she already can get in contact with him, he's the weak link.
Oh, man, I don't know if I'm up for
boy,
that.
Does it bring an interesting issue. It's going to bring a very interesting issue. Because to me, he is the weak link. And I think they're going to portray him as the weak link.
And I get it. So now you turn the mom versus the dad, because the mom is the one who essentially sent Franklin to save Leon. That's been ever since that instant conversation. That's where he didn't even leave it for debate.
What do you think the mom would do to protect Franklin if she thinks the father would flip on him?
I ain't answering that.
Hey, that is the setup that I am waiting to have happen, because I believe Irene is going to go to him because she believes he's the weak link. And she's going to use the point that he's honest. You're running this shelter. You know what's going on is wrong. You just need to you have to talk about it. You have to put a stop to. I am waiting for it. To me, this is something we talked about it eventually. Where would the conflict come from that we saw in many clips between Franklin and his father? This is the conflict of him bringing it up to him. You need to stop this. You need to turn Leon in. And then that's it.
I don't know that is good. That's some good storytelling. That's
See,
some
you went
good
to Gustavo.
storytelling.
To me, it's not Gustavo. In the end, Gustavo has way too many skeletons in his closet. He ain't flipping at this point. And if he does, he's going to jail for himself with no issue.
But again, unless she out here promising impossible things and he just somehow
but Gustavo ain't gonna believe her.
I hope not.
Yeah,
but
the dad would. The dad would.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Gustavo would kill her before he believed her.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll say, look, this episode was really good. It's the 5th episode. So we're definitely halfway through the season.
3 episodes left.
Yeah, it's not. So it's 8, not 10, right?
Yeah, it's 8. It's 8. Like so. So last week we talked about how amazing that episode was. You know, for people who don't know, in the peaks of drama and drama series, you hit the high point and then you go back down. So 4 was the high point. 5 is the way back down. And this is when you normally get to the crux of the story of the season and you get to the most emotionally impacted things that happen. So these last episodes are going to be gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
For Snowfall. You're going to see a lot of decisions have to be made because Franklin has pigeonholed himself into a situation where he's going to have to make some of the toughest decisions he's ever had to make. 1, am I giving up Leon? 2, if this bad thing happens, do I kill him to protect my business? Or for the mom, what do? You're trying to make this legitimate, but if this guy gets in the way, you all go to jail. Yeah. It ain't a situation where just Franklin goes down. Everybody goes down.
Yeah. And also, too, to add, too, again, you got the Irene thing coming. That's looming. You got the street war with Scully and Manboy, who are a team, who aren't a team. Well, I think it's even more dangerous because they are dysfunctionally trying to function.
Exactly.
And right now, I mean, you have to take everything with Scully to I think everything that's happening right now with Scully is because of the elevated emotions. So I think that you don't take too much of this to the heart because I think he will sort of balance back out. And I think we're going to quickly see them back at foes.
He's going to remember that Manboy tried to get him killed.
Yeah.
That ain't going to be something that matter of fact, Manboy attempted to kill him.
Yeah.
The moment he feels it's handled with his daughter, he going to kill Manboy too.
Mm-hmm. But ultimately, Franklin saving Leon right in front of Manboy. I mean, he just the danger is so evident and it's right on his doorstep. So that's another interaction we should be expecting next episode is a confrontation between the two of them, and whether it's verbal or whatever it may be, something has to be done. So, and I will say this, but I'm not gonna really draw the image as much as I'm thinking about it. But there are some things in the season preview trailer that still hasn't came yet, and I'm still waiting for. That's all I'm gonna say. So I don't know when it's happening, but I know there's some things that are strictly going to happen that hasn't happened yet. So we'll see. But we're here to review and cover each of these episodes, breaking them all down, giving these really breaking each of these big plot points, and hopefully providing some content for you all this season. Anything else you want to add?
And quick, I don't trust Uncle Jerome.
Oh, how do we forget?
Man.
Sir. Man. I mean, we've been calling this, and more or less you've been calling it. But when they got in that car and they looked at each other, and when he mentioned about how Leon wasn't, he never seen that before, a part of me, that's not what I thought he was going to say. But forget what he said. It was the look that he had.
Yep.
He was like, And I think, which is crazy, I think that he was actually going to tell Manboy where Leon was at.
Hey, okay. I was wondering, was I the only person that thought that? I clearly thought he was going to give up Leon to Manboy, because I still think that he is too connected to Manboy. Way too connected to Manboy.
Yeah, and he's super comfortable whenever they're around each other talking. Like,
yes.
So I don't know.
I thought I was the only one. I don't trust them new niggas over there. Nope. I don't trust you, Uncle Jerome. I don't. You've done nothing to gain trust.
I tell you, it'd be a crazy cliffhanger to end this season. Something on that note, but we'll see. And again, I know I haven't done my research.
If Uncle Jerome goes Soprano reference, by the way, for what I'm about to say, just in case y'all thought it gets vulgar, just to be vulgar. If Uncle Jerome goes big pussy here, we gonna have that could take Snowfall to a different level for me if he goes big pussy here, because that's what it's looking like he's gonna do.
Yeah. And again, I was going to say, I haven't done my research as to what's next to come with Snowfall seasons. Again, we talked about it a lot before about
they've left it blank so far. They have not talked about if this is the last season or if there's a season after this.
Yeah, and I don't think without a doubt Snowfall is ending right now. I think it's a matter of where is it going to be, and I think that I still think that Hulu, as being a Hulu original, or the death of FX or whatever it may be.
I don't see it leaving. I still don't see it leaving FX. I see it leaving the setting of LA before it leaves FX.
Oh well, I mean,
because it's Snowfall. In all honesty, like it's a show about crack. Yeah, you can do that everywhere.
Either way, we're getting more. I know for a fact we're getting more.
We can go real life and head to DC if you would like.
Yeah,
it's a couple of stories we got here.
Yeah, it's true. And by the way, the dedication that they gave at the end of the episode to Curtis Stevenson, that dude is actually from around our way. So I'm very curious as to what's the connection there. But it was a man shot by who was he? He was shot because of gun violence, or whatever, up in this area. So that was last year. So I was definitely surprised to see his name, Curtis Bang Stevenson. I was like, what? And I definitely remember hearing about that. So I just wonder what show ties has with him.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, folks, that's going to do it for tonight. We're back each and every week. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode. And as always, folks, stay tuned because we got more reviews coming soon. Thank you for tuning in.